This is Monday with the Manager on 18 WJTS. We are local people watching local people. We've made our way to Ferdinand, Indiana to the town hall. We're going to talk with town manager Chris James. Chris, it's something we did a show just a couple of weeks ago, but we're back again because you've got big things going on in Ferdinand this weekend, but you've got some big things going on in Ferdinand this week that mean a lot to the residents with paving projects.
Yes, it's our fall paving schedule right now. CalCar is in town. They'll be in, weather permitting. They could be done as early as Wednesday. If Irma sends some of her remnants through the area, it could be extended to Thursday or Friday, and that's fine. CalCar said we're here until we're done, so we're appreciative of that. But right now the work is a lot of milling work right now, but they're going to be paving Virginia Street from West 8th to West 13th Street, and then also a section of West 5th from Missouri Street down to the 5th Street ballpark. Most folks look at that area as part of the parking lot. Technically it is, but also part of it is an actual street that feeds into the back area, so we'll have that. That'll all get paved this week. Been very appreciative of the folks as we posted over the weekend, no parking, so that we can keep traffic off so that the millers can come through and grind the old pavement off. Folks were great with that, 100% participation, which is fabulous. So that's helped out, and we're adjusting the date stamp on that paper in case of the weather, so you know it's going to be an extra day or so. The paving on Virginia ties in. It's sort of the nice bow on the package with our community crossings project. As we have earlier this spring and even last fall, we put in a lot of curb and guttering and sidewalks in that area. Some places it's repair of existing sidewalk. In some places, it's brand new sidewalk where it's never been before. And once we've got all of that in, then we come in and do the fancy paving and get the street up to just brand new status. And it'll last for many, many years before we have to do any kind of patching or anything on it. So that all ties in. And it also, the sidewalk specifically, ties in with our connectivity in town. Community crossings program that came out from NDOT last year provided us the dollars to be able to do this project. This is something that had been on our street superintendent Tom Leakin's radar for many years as I'd love to be able to do this type of project, and he had it set up where he'd do a block or two a year, just as the dollars allowed. When community crossings came up and the money was available, we decided just to take that whole section and get it all squared away. So now you literally can walk sidewalk from our 5th Street Park to 18th Street. The only hazardous area is crossing the highway on 162. Take our chances on that, but folks are pretty good about watching for traffic. But then you can connect in going to the library or to the Y, or if a student lives on that side of the highway, if you're going up to Forest Park High School, you stay on that sidewalk and you're there. Then you can always veer off toward the community center and then 18th Street Park. So you've got that connectivity, the wellness benefit, the healthy lifestyle that so many are pushing nowadays as part of that community, place of community and that quality of life location. So that ties in very well with that. And it's a win-win situation for us with that project. So I think a lot of folks are going to be very happy with the end result at the end of this week.
And one other thing is that we want to talk about today is this weekend.
Yes.
This Saturday in particular is a big weekend in Ferdinand.
It's our 8th annual Folk Festival. We've been blessed every year with great weather. We've got our special prayer to the sisters in terms of safe travels for all of the vendors and the musicians and the visitors, and then also nice weather. We always have sort of the tag at the end as opposed to the whole prayer. We just tag that on at the end, and the sisters have done very good work for us over the years. Last year was probably as close to a soggy Saturday because it rained on Friday afternoon and again that morning, but once we got past lunch hour, it was smooth sailing all the way through, and the skies cleared out more and more as the day went on, and the people who hadn't been there early on, all of a sudden they descended on the park as the mid and late afternoon hours rolled in. We're hopeful that the Irma issue will have passed through, and then at the end of this week we've pre-planned as much as we can with our group of volunteers to get things ready, and then we'll get out there on Thursday and Friday, get the booth spaces marked for all of the vendors to come in, make sure the stage setting is in the right place, got all the electric up and functional, picnic tables positioned right, and just have everything in place as we can, and then just kind of take loose on Saturday and let the chips fall where they may. But looking forward to seeing several thousand of our closest friends come into Ferdinand again on Saturday, and just having a great day of it.
Well, it's interesting, the town of Ferdinand, it's like at the Chris Kindle Mark. You have a town of 2,300 that will swell
Yes.
to a certain number. How big is the Ferdinand Folk Fest?
Most years, we don't have an official head count, but our unscientific method, usually in the 8,000 range. I think a couple of years, probably closer to 9,000. The last couple of years, the hillside crowd has been its thickest of an evening as it's ever been, close to probably 300 or 3,500 people that evening for those last 2 acts or 3 acts performing. When you get into the late afternoon, early evening, just ahead of the headliner, then all of a sudden you really see this swell of people come onto the hillside, and it's just literally body to body from the bottom of the hill way up almost to the upper shelter house. And it makes it interesting when we go out on some of our trash can detail of the late afternoon and evening. We have to go further and further up the hill to loop over to come back around to get to the trash on the other side, because there are so many people we can't navigate through them. That's a great problem to have, and we'd like to have them right up to the very top of the hill and make it just that much more of a challenge for us this year.
There's plenty of room for people.
Yes.
Now, let's talk about the entertainment that will be performing.
Okay, on the main stage, we'll start up from 11:15 to 12:15. It is our singer-songwriter participants. They each get 1 song on stage. Depending on how many are there, we may be able to do 2, but that'll be a day of thing where we determine that. But that's from 11:15 to 12:15. From 12:30 until 1, it's Carrie Lynn and the String Get Up. 1:15 to 2 o'clock, it's Southern Sirens. If that name sounds familiar, they were the performers at our halfway show back in March, I think it was, many months ago now, as the time flies by. They were a trio that day. They'll be their full quartet strength performer group on Saturday. That's from 1:15 to 2. Jeffrey Martin will play from 2:15 to 3:15. 3:30 to 4:30 is Tim Grimm and the Family Band. Rachel Davis will perform from 4:45 to 5:45, and then we get into the last 2 acts of the night. From 6 until 7, it's Justin Johnson, and then Joshua Davis will be our headline act this year from 7:30 until 9 p.m. And then we've got market stage performances as well. Those hit in the 15-minute increments between main stage acts, so we're not competing with vocalists on the big stage and the smaller stage and having overlap and feedback and other issues. And it'll be our singer-songwriters again filling those slots as well, as their schedules allow. Some can be here on the big stage and then they have to leave. Others are going to be here pretty much all day, so they'll be able to bop off of the big stage and then come down and take a set on the market stage, and then just fill that in. We've got a lot of children's activities in the lower shelter house. Rachel Davis actually is doing a children's concert at 2:15 until about 3 o'clock, I believe, in the lower shelter house. Talon Trust is going to be in with some of their winged friends. Little Rexings, it's like petting zoo animals. They're going to have several animals in so the kids can get up close and personal with some woodland creatures and some pets. Stirring Up Hope is going to be doing pony rides to raise money for their cause. Best Chairs, Best Home Furnishings, they're having their NASCAR car here. So for the gearheads of the Folk Fest crowd, they can come and swoon over the car before they head over and set up shop for the actual musical performance. And then we've got over a dozen food vendors along Food Row, close to 40 vendors in the arts and crafts section, and almost 24 environmental and educational vendors lined up as well. So we've got, your bases are covered from food to crafts to environmental information, and then great music as well. The Big Bounce Fun House is going to be back with inflatables. They'll have a mechanical bull this year. That's something brand new to them. I think they just gave their first trial run on that at an event last week, so we're like second ever that's going to have it. And it is all speed controlled, so if a smaller child wants to ride it, it'll be at a slower speed, so they'll be fine. If mom or dad, probably dad, thinks, I can, let me show you how rodeo boys do it, and then they can get up and crank the speed, and then we'll see how much cowboy dad or uncle has in him or not, as the case may be. So there's something literally for everyone. We start up, the booths open up roughly 11:30 that morning, and food booths will be open probably until about 8 or so that evening, because they have the electric on the fence line. The arts and crafts vendors and the education and environment vendors, they wrap up at 6 p.m. so they can get torn down and out of the park while there's still good daylight, so they can see, so that you don't have vendors driving over vendors or pedestrians, as the case may be, getting in or out of the park as you get into the evening hours. So it's going to be a great day, great evening. Come to Ferdinand and be a part of it.
Chris, thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill.
Appreciate talking with you. We have
Yes.
been talking with Chris James, the town manager for the town of Ferdinand. This weekend, it's the Ferdinand Folk Festival, all day Saturday into the early evening. Thank you for watching WJTS. We're local people watching local people.